So this is part 2 of fixing a non-dominant shoulder side here. So if you're right-handed and you got pain whenever you're doing bench press or push-ups, or if you try to put your hand overhead, this video is designed for someone with a non-dominant shoulder problem. Before we go into part 2, I'm going to show you a testimonial from one of my athletes I fixed through video call with a non-dominant shoulder problem.
And so I started with a little impingement, and it got worse and worse and worse by me trying to do exercises, me trying to do a lot of PT stuff I found online, and it just exacerbated the problem to the point where, like, shooting knife pain in the shoulder. I think it ended up being close to a year where I wasn't able to do push-ups anymore. It got hard to sleep at night, and I had seen a doctor, I'd seen a chiropractor, I'd done all this stuff, all this online research. But I was probably like right here with the arm, and going like behind my back, I could get to like right here. And I had to like lean forward. I could barely get my hand to the small of my back. And now I can go all the way, like that's totally full range now. I could barely touch my shoulder right here, and now I can go all the way over. So everything else I was doing before, I was using my lats or my pecs, everything was super tight. So stopped everything and only started working on the weak stuff, and that's what loosened it up.
So we did a video on Eric before, and this is he's now about 6 weeks in now, and we're finally at the point now where I can teach him elbow pulls. If you remember the last video we talked about, he wasn't ready for that. So, and how I know is now we're going on level 2 here. Go ahead. Now, go ahead, up and down. Open your chest just a little bit more. Right there. That's where I want you. Go ahead. And look at, that's where his true range of motion is. Do you see how I locked his shoulder down? Go ahead. And now the track can't move at all. That's his true range right there. And now he has total access. You feel only here? Mm-hmm. So he only feels the back reared out of the shoulder here. And if you look over top, babe, look at how atrophied. There's really nothing here, okay? So there's no support. That's why he's got so many shoulder issues on his non-dominant shoulder. But this is his true range that I really taught him today of how to lock into this. So he's only using his rear delt. And so what he's gonna do is, if we switch over to the other side, now we're gonna, go ahead, open this up just a little bit more. So we're gonna go to this level here, on the same level, and watch the range of motion, go ahead. He can go up. Do you see how, look, the shoulder stays completely still, and down. Yeah, smooth on that angle. There. Look at that, look at that. On the other side, he can't physically do this. So that's where he's locked in. So this is what we're trying to restore, is the rear delt. And if you notice, look at there's so much more development on this side. You can see it's much more massive and grown, okay? So that's part of the problem, is we got to get that rear delt function on the non-dominant shoulder. Like I said in the other video, you don't throw with your left arm, right? If you're right-handed, you're going to throw here. So you're constantly pulling back in this position here, constantly working the rear delt, lifting up, almost doing face pulls every time you go to throw this way too. So that's what we're trying to restore in this shoulder. So now he's got access to this muscle. He needs more access in this position, but to me now, he's past level 1, and now we're on level 2, but he's got a very short range. But now he's ready to start introducing the elbow pulls. Position's really hard.
Yeah.
He can't get physically, if you look at him from the side profile, look at his wrist. You see how he can't even grip it. All right. Now, if we turn, go ahead, turn. Look at how easy it is for him to grip on this side. So this limits his leg day. He can't barbell squat. That's good. Oh, yeah. So he can't barbell squat. So what you're going to see is, once that elbow pull gets fixed, the elbow pulls is a different piece of the rear delt than the thumb down raise. Thumb down raise kind of gets the whole rear delt, a little bit of the pants muscle. This, the one that I'm showing here, just locks in literally to this piece right here of the rear delt. Right here. This little tiny piece here, this little nub. So that's what we're working on when we're doing this here. All right. Now, I'm going to have him slouch, because I don't want him using his scap at all. Okay, go ahead and come up with the elbow. That's it. If he try to come up higher, if he comes up higher, look, he starts shrugging here. So in order for him to access this rear delt, go ahead, up. That's it. Can you feel it there now? Yeah. Now he feels it here. So that's the range of motion he's got to start at. If he tries to come up higher, go ahead, come up higher. Look at what happens. This whole entire scap starts lifting and trap. And we'll show you on the right side. So go ahead up. And now you feel it here, correct? Yeah. So when we first did this, he couldn't feel anything here. But because I got better access to his rear delt with the thumb down raise, now we can start restoring that throwing position where you pull the elbow back on the non-dominant shoulder. This is specifically designed for, because you don't throw on your left arm. And look at it shake. Get in a little closer. I just want you to see this shake. Go ahead. Look at it. Come in closer so they can see it. That's how weak this is. Look at it. Look at him. Hold it. Feeling all here?
Oh yeah.
As long as he feels here, I don't care how long he holds it for. As soon as it starts going up into his trap, done. Got it?
Yeah.
But that's the first time you've accessed that, correct?
Oh yeah.
So if he comes up on the right side, look at how you can come all the way up. Look at how that trap stays down here, and look at the elbow. And if you look here, like there is literally his muscles really massive here. Okay, that's from all the throwing. But on the other side, you know, he could barely lift it up, and the shoulder would just, this would just go ahead, lift this up, shrug this. That would just shrug up every time he would try to move. He would shrug up that way, correct? Mm-hmm. So when you're doing this, you're really pushing the shoulder down to the floor, and then you're moving. You're not really trying to let it go back. You're trying to pin that shoulder down this way to the floor. This is another exercise in your system that he physically cannot do. Why? Because he doesn't have this restored yet. He physically cannot open this arm to move it back. So stay right there, just show that's about as far. That's his function. He cannot externally, correct? Okay, rest. So if I come here, do you see how my arm externally rotates and now I'm in position? Okay, he physically cannot do this. So, and the reason isn't because he needs to do this exercise. The reason is because he has no strength in his rear delt muscle in this elbow position.